all, and welcome to mathematics class. I am by name teacher Daniel Jonah. Okay class, I want you to pick up your book and your biro and write out the items you have before us. The subject is mathematics, today's date, the topic. Today's topic is equations involving fractions. Equations involving fractions. Okay. Now we have a question before us. What are equations involving fractions? What are equations involving fractions? Okay. Now let's look at what equation is all about. Equations are statements that says two quantities are equal. Equations are statements that says two quantities are equal. E.g., we have 2x plus 3 is equals to 5 minus 2x. This is an example of equation. Alright, now let's look at what fraction is all about. Fractions are parts of a whole. That is, fractions have numerators and denominators. E.g., we have 2 over 3. The 2 here is called the numerator, and the 3 here is called the denominator. Alright. Okay class, let's look at some examples before us. The first example here, we are asked to find the value of p in 3 over 4 is equals to p over 4. Find the value of p in 3 over 4 is equals to p over 4. Okay, the first thing to do is to write out the solution. After the solution, we have to note here that when solving equations involving fractions with sign of equality, what the first thing to do is to cross multiply. That is, when a question is given to you with sign of equality, the first thing to do is to carry out a cross multiplication. Okay, so the first step here, step 1 here, is cross multiply. Cross multiply. Okay, that is 3 will be crossing at the same time multiplying 4, and also 4 will be crossing at the same time multiplying p. Okay, when this is done, let's look at the next result. Okay, after cross multiplication, we have 3 multiply 4 is equals to 4 multiply p. Alright, so 3 times 4 will give us 12 is equals to 4 times p will give us 4p. Now at this stage, what we'll do here is what? We turn over. Okay, in mathematics, professionally, when you're looking for the value of a variable and the variable is carrying a coefficient, the term, that is the variable and the coefficient, is supposed to be at the left hand side of the equation. So when you turn this equation, there is a difference between turning and moving. Okay, when turning this equation, nothing changes. Okay, so when you turn this equation, what we now have is 4p is equals to 12. As I said, when turning an equation, nothing changes. Alright? Okay, now step 2. We divide both sides by 4. Don't forget the question is asking us to find the value of p, okay, and p here is carrying a coefficient, okay, and the coefficient here is 4. So we don't want to see the 4 any longer. What do? We divide both sides by the 4. Okay, now dividing both sides by 4, we now have 4p divided 4 is equal to 12 divided 4. Alright? Now 4 here, we cancel this 4. What will be left here is p. Okay, which is equals to 4 divided 12. And 4 divided 12 will give us 3. So therefore the value of p is equals to 3. Okay. I hope class you are enjoying the lesson. Now let's move on to the next example. Okay, now the second example here we ask to simplify 2d over 3 minus 2 is equals to 4. Okay, the first thing to do is to write out the solution. Now step 1, here we are to collect like terms. Collect what? Like terms. Okay, and recall in our last lesson I explained to you what collecting like term is all about. And this equation, why collecting like terms here? The minus 2 here will be leaving the left hand side to the right hand side to make it partner, which is 4. And the 2 here is minus. And our last lesson, recall I said that whenever a negative sign is crossing the sign of equality, it changes to plus. So therefore, you now have 2d over 3 is equals to 4 plus 2. Okay. Alright, now 2d over 3 is equals to 6. Okay, 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. Now to balance this equation, we divide 3 by 1 to balance the equation. Okay. Now after this step, the next step, that is step 2, is to cross multiply. Okay, cross multiply. Now 2d will be crossing and multiplying 1 at the same time, which is equals to 6 times 3. Okay, and 2d times 1 will still give us 2d, which is equals to 6 times 3 is 18. Alright. Now, the next step, which is step 3, is to divide both sides by 2. Okay, in this equation, we are going to find the value of d. And the d there is having a coefficient, which is 2. Okay. So we want to make d the subject formula. Alright, now making d the subject formula, we divide both sides by 2. So here we now have 2d divided 2 is equals to 18 divided 2. Alright, now at this stage d2 will cancel 2. What will be left here is d. Right, and 2 divided 18 is equals to 9. Alright. Now let's look at the third example. Okay. I think of a number. When I divide it by 15, the result is 3. What is the number? I think of a number. When I divide it by 15, the result is 3. What is the number? Now this is a word problem. I recall in our last lesson I said when a word problem is given to you, the first thing to notice here is the vocabularies used in the problem. Okay, now here is a problem before us, and we have some vocabulary here like divide, result. Okay, these are vocabularies in this question. Okay, note vocabularies used in the questions. We have divide and we have results. Okay, now when a word problem is given to you, the first thing is what? To express the question into mathematical expression. Okay, we express the equation into mathematical expression. Alright, now I think of a number. The number is unknown, so let the number I think of be x. Okay, the number I think of is unknown, so we use a variable to represent the number, and the variable used here is x. Alright, okay, now when I divide it by 15, that is, when I divide the number I think of, which is x, by 15, we now have x divide 15. Okay, that the result there is the sign of equality. The sign of equality. The result here is the sign of equality. So when I divide x by 15, that the result is 3. Okay, the result is 3. Alright, now we balance the 3 by 1 to balance what? The equation. Okay, so that each side will have numerator and denominator. Okay, so step 2 in this question is to cross multiply. We cross multiply. Okay, x will be crossing at the same time multiplying 1. We now have 1 times x is equals to 3 will be crossing at the same time multiplying 15. We now have 3 times 15. And 1 times x, we have x. Instead of writing 1x professionally, we write x. Okay, is equals to 3 times 15 is equals to 45. So the value of x in this question is 45. I hope, class, you are following and you are enjoying the lesson as well. Alright, we have our homework before us. The first one is to simplify 3v divide 4 is equal to 75. So in this question you are asked to find the value of v. Okay, the second question is find the value of y in 2y over 3 is equals to 8. Okay, in this question you are asked to find the value of what? Y. Now the third question here is 4 times a boy's present age gives his father's age. If the father is now 64 years, find the age of the boy. Okay, in this question the father's age is 64 years and the boy's age is unknown, so we are asked to find the boy's age. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Do have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.